Hi, docs. Welcome to another podcast of Health Professional Success. I'm really excited to talk to you today about the understanding of finding out exactly where you're at and what you need to do to be able to take your clinic and your practice and your mission to the next level. And the best way to explain it is to tell you a little bit of a story that happened to me and made me really think. And it went into a mall just a little while back. And malls are really different right now. At the time, this mall would usually be completely covered with people all over the place. It's in a really high-end area in Arizona called Scottsdale. And I was in there and it was pretty empty. There's kind of a weird feeling with everything going on. But I went up to one of those big boards because I was trying to find a store that they had moved there. And one of my wife's favorite stores is Lululemon. And they had moved it. And so I'm looking at this big screen. And there's a screen there. And it tells you where all the stores are and where they're at. And what do you do when you're looking at those screens, right? You sit there and you look for the little red dot, because the little red dot tells you where you're at in amongst all of these stores. There's 3 levels of stores and all over the place. It wasn't like you could just walk through and you'll run into it, because there's all these different levels and it branches off and that. And so you looked and saw this little red dot, and from there you can navigate where I needed to go, upstairs and down the escalator and over to this corner to the store. Now, the thing is that it's much like where we're at in life. No matter what position you're in, whether you're at a successful clinic, you're just starting out in a clinic, you're well on your way, or you have a long ways to go, it doesn't matter. Many times you need to look where that little red dot is, where you're at, and evaluate before you go forward. And for me, and what I've seen with a lot of successful clinics and a lot of successful business people around the world, is they've had their greatest successes at times when they backed up and they said, where is my dot? Where am I at? And then they're able to plot where to go again from that point. Even though they think they're on their 5-year plan or 5-month plan or whatever it might be, that they step back and reevaluate. So that's what I'm going to ask you to do. Now for me, I'm going to tell you what I do, what I did from the very beginning, and that will hopefully spur you to come up with your plan. But whatever it is, you need to have a set plan that helps you to secure where that red dot is, to secure where you're at, and to really open your mind so that you can chart your direction and your progress moving forward. So for me, when I first started, it really came down to reading. And that's what I'm going to recommend for almost all of you, is that when you're at that point and you're having a little bit of chaos, a little bit of frustration, you're not sure of the direction, or you just have a little feeling of angst in you, then step back, even if it's for half a day, on a weekend, whenever, and go back and read. Now, that's right, read, not watch social media, not get caught up in the daily stuff, but read a book that hopefully one that you read to start with that got you going, that got your excitement up, that got your mojo, that made you think and dream. And go back to that and see if where you're at right now is where you should be, and if you need to realign and rechart your progress. So let me give you an example. For me, one of the first books that I read that really set me off the direction I wanted to go and give me the energy and the focus and realize what I needed to do to get there was a book by Napoleon Hill called Think and Grow Rich. Now, this is a special classic edition of Think and Grow Rich. I love the different versions of it, but the original is actually my favorite. And in here, when I was reading it, it helped me to understand that in order to accomplish the things that I wanted to in life, that I needed to have a group, a mastermind group. And I'd refer you to one of the earlier podcasts that talked about how to set up your mastermind group. But it also helped me create a vision of, do I truly, truly want that end result? Am I willing to sacrifice to get there? What will it look like when I'm there? And if you do that throughout your whole career, wherever you're at right now, if you'll take that time to go back to a book like this, or some other book that you read that got you motivated, maybe it's a chapter of the Bible, maybe it's a book that someone you know wrote, whatever it might be, you'll go back and you read that, and it'll help you understand, gosh, okay, I am where I should be. I just need to get back my fire, or I'm good. I can keep moving forward. Or, you know what, I veered off direction there for a while, and I need to get back on track, whatever it might be. I've had a few people go back and say, you know what, I went down the wrong path. I need to look at a career change or do something different. I had some people that have gone and left different businesses or companies or professions, even in the MBA, and then gone back and read, you know what, man, it was just hard and I quit and I shouldn't have. I need to get back at it. That's where I really feel fulfilled. I know I'm supposed to do good there, and they went back. So a lot of things can happen from this evaluation of where your red dot is. So for me, it was Think and Grow Rich. And then for those of you that love that book, I'm going to give you a little tip. There's a book called Discovering the Path to Riches. It's called Success by Napoleon Hill, where they took a lot of his quotes, a lot of his favorite quotes and little rules, and put it in a little book that you can use and talks and those little daily things to be able to look at. It's really cool to have. It's timeless. And then for me also, one of the first nutrition books I read was called Enzyme Nutrition by Dr. Edward Hall. And I go back and I read that, not because, there's new research in there, but because it gave me the foundational principle of making sure we obey the laws of nature, to eat more raw food, to only formulate with whole foods, to make sure we add back the enzymes. And as we go through the procedures of making formulas and going through the production and all that, it's always good to keep grounded, know where that dot is in order to be able to produce the best products in the world, and to be able to stay true to whole food and to nature and the laws of nature, and respect that, so that we could get that karma or that energy back from nature by respecting her when we're formulating products. So the key to this podcast today is to suggest to each of you right now, either do it today or pick a time within the next week to spend half a day to go back and realign where that red dot is, where that circle is. And I'd recommend you doing it through reading. Some of you might be fasting, some of you might be going up to a mountain, go to somewhere that you might go to be able to refresh. But reading can help really get the synapses going, serotonin, dopamine to a level to allow that creative thinking to get to your core of really what it is that drives you, and that will help you when it gets tough, when the COVID thing comes up, you don't know what's going to be shut down, what's not, and all this stuff, to be able to help you through times like that, to stay true to your beliefs. So just like that map in the mall, find out where your dot's at today. See if you veered off or not. Then you're able to reset your parameters and your goals and go forward to where you need to. So this is a kind of a short podcast today, but one that's really invaluable, because it's one that'll help you to be able to reach your goal, to be able to help many people reach optimal health, including your clinic and your family. Try it out. Have a good day.